The government of Israel, if you look at its history, its actions started with terrorist actions, and they used terrorism to eject the Palestinians, and they are very brutal. More than this, you're well familiar with the Beir Yassin story, and they looted Deir Yassin, and they called the local people to come to a square, and they killed men, women, and children. And children, they were put on trailers. They were forced to sit on those trailers, and they took them to different cities, and the Zionists were using derogatory words and just to belittle them, and their children are right now living in Gaza. So this is our understanding of Israel. Now those people, they're old people. Well, many of those terrorists are alive and well inside Israel. This is their innate nature. They can't change that. And as long as they are here, this is their nature. And they have no other weapons at their disposal but weapons of brutality. They have no logic, they have no reason to fall back on, but they are wrong. They might have been able so far to continue like this, but they are cutting their own lifeblood. And to Ibn Ziyad, the family of Imam Hussein said to him that if you think you have killed my family members, you have prevailed, you are wrong. You shouldn't feel any self-satisfaction or pride in yourself. This will later come back to haunt you. And right now, the Israeli government, well, alone from all Arab states, they think that they are more powerful compared to Arab states. And again, when it comes to the Gaza people, the besieged people, they have run into the ground. And yesterday, an Israeli official said that 900,000 people living in the southern part of Israel can be reached by Hamas missiles. Many cities, many port cities, many factories, and many villages. This means that they have no peace of mind over there. They're constantly cowering in shelters, and each day the trajectory or the radius, if you will, of Hamas missiles increase, and Tel Aviv is well reachable by Hamas missiles, and also missiles can reach the sea as well. So that's another threat. The south is very reachable for them, and this is a nightmare for the Zionists. And in the words of the Holy Quran, they are in such a situation. They do not believe in selfless acts, and whatever they do are material deeds. So this is how they are living. What can they do? One of the goals that they have stated is to overthrow the Hamas government. So what will happen then? Once Hamas was trying to put together a government, many people came to us and they said that now is not the time, and the resistance cannot provide for the food and the water and the livelihood of the people. Let us remain as the resistance. So let's say that Israel manages to break the Hamas resistance, but they can threaten Israel from every point. And the US and the West, despite their power, in face of a handful of Al-Qaeda terrorists, they are under a lot of pressure in these parts. So you shouldn't think that with planes and tanks you can break the resistance. And a good example is Lebanon. Now, the atrocities committed in Lebanon, later the resistance by the Lebanese, culminating in the shaking of the very foundations of the Zionist administration. They accused one another later, and some people went on trial, so on and so forth. In Gaza, more heinous atrocities are very possible. Over there we had the Hezbollah. We had 1.5, perhaps 2 million Shia supporting and backing the resistance. The Lebanese had an army. They had open borders with Syria. They had borders extensively, sea borders. They were in contact with other parts of the world. If Hezbollah wanted to stand fast as they did, they had access to backing. But the situation is very difficult inside Gaza. They have to ask permission from Egypt. Sometimes Rafah crossing opens, a couple of injured are allowed to pass, and sometimes Israel permits some food deliveries into Gaza so that the people do not perish. Now, if Israel failed in Lebanon, well, there were those conditions. But if they fail in facing Gaza, that